Hello, everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and I just finished doing a video on the Nicola Bulley inquest and how they came to a determination that she died accidentally by drowning. I agree with that determination. And if you wonder what my analysis was on that case, please go to the description below, and there's a link there. About the whole analysis, and I also have a link there to my analysis of the determination. But the real reason I did the video about the determination was I was not so much analyzing the determination because I agreed with it, but I was analyzing how many people are going to come out of the woodwork. Well, they're actually all over the place on the internet, and they're not going to accept that determination, and they're going to put out more and more videos about how she was really murdered. And after I put out the video on the inquest, I started getting those comments in right with that video saying, "Oh no, but what about this? But what about that? Why did nobody see her in the stream? Why did this not happen? Why did that not happen?" And so, yes, on it goes. So go check out my video on the inquest, and you'll see what I have to say about that. But the one thing that I keep getting asked over and over is, well, I don't understand how she could have actually drowned. I mean, in that shallow water, yes, it was cold, and they say that when she went in, she, did that, and all the water went into her lungs, and they found water in her lungs. But I still don't believe she could have drowned that quickly, that she couldn't have stood up and walked out. It wasn't that deep, and the water might have been moving, but it wasn't moving that fast. So why couldn't she save herself if she really did indeed fall into the river? All right. So, and I'm going to say a lot of people don't know what it's actually like to drown. And I have had an experience in my life, which I almost drowned. And I know exactly what she would have felt like at that moment and what would have happened to her. I was only 7 years old when it happened to me. And I was at it was a man-made small lake. It was sort of considered a swimming pool, but it was a small lake. And in the relatively shallow part of that little lake, maybe, I'm going to say maybe 3 feet, because I was 7 years old and I could stand up in it, and I wasn't that good a swimmer. I don't even know if I could swim. So maybe it come up to here on me. And there was a slide there, and I wanted to go down the slide. So my older sister stood at the bottom of the slide. I thought she had her arms out, and I was going to slide down, and she was going to catch me as I hit the water. Only she didn't. I don't know what happened. I don't know what her explanation was for why she did not catch me. Maybe I just went faster than she expected, and I went right by her or through her arms, and I plunged into the water. And here's what I experienced as I came down from the top of the water toward the bottom. I must have sucked the water straight into my lungs. I was not breathing, but I didn't feel like I couldn't breathe. I didn't have any feeling of needing to breathe at all. And everything went into slow motion. And I remember slowly sinking toward the bottom. And I remember seeing some of the children's legs going around, everything in slow motion. I was very peaceful. I wasn't upset. I wasn't fearful. I just was slowly sinking in this very kind of pleasant atmosphere. And I do remember wondering, why doesn't my sister reach down and pull me up? And after a little while, it probably was 3 seconds, because everything I said was time was not normal. I saw a hand slowly coming down, reaching down, and I couldn't move toward the hand. I had no ability to move at all. I was just sinking. And so I saw the hand come down, and that hand went around my wrist, and it started pulling me up toward the surface. And then I broke through the surface, and then I started choking like crazy. It was horrible. And they dragged me out of the water and put me on the ground and hitting me on the back and all that stuff. I didn't need CPR because I was choking, and so I was still alive. And I remember it being a very frightening experience. Not the part where I was drowning, just the part after they took me out of the water, which was so unpleasant and so, frightening to not be able to breathe then. So when I hit that water, though, and the water went straight into my lungs, it stopped all the normal processes that you normally would be able to respond to. Since I didn't feel I needed to breathe, I wasn't in pain. I just was in wonderment, almost like my brain had just stopped thinking about any sort of needs, but I also have no physical ability to function. So my belief is that Nicola did the same thing. When she fell off that water, slipped or fell off or whatever happened to it, I fell off the little ledge, fell into the water. When she hit that water and it was freezing cold and she went, like they think she did, probably both in surprise and in shock for the cold water, and the water went in her lungs because it happened so quickly that the same thing happened to her. She didn't have a chance to react. All of a sudden, she was just sinking under the water, thinking, why am I sinking? She couldn't stand up because you cannot control your body. So she's simply sinking, and the water is starting to, as she's going under the water, it's just pulling her away because it's, it's just, there she goes. It was slow, but she's still moving away under the water. And at some point, because she wasn't lucky like me, I got pulled out of the water. My life was saved. Now, just imagine if my sister, when she missed me, was being an older kid and some kid said, hey, and talked to my sister, and she had turned away and was talking to them, thinking I was perfectly fine because she's just a kid herself. If she hadn't been right there, I could have simply sunk to the bottom, even though it was probably only 3.5 feet. I would have sunk, and other children would be playing around, probably not even notice my body laying there. And I could have drowned before anybody realized there I was. She didn't have anybody with her. Nicola she just floated away or was pulled away in the current and never could do anything. She had no ability to save herself under those conditions. It happens that quickly. And there's nothing you can do. That's why it's called an accidental drowning. And, it doesn't even matter if you can swim because you don't have the ability to move your arms and legs in those conditions, in that quick circumstance. So for all of you who don't think she could have just simply, when she fell into the water, sucked that water in her lungs and not been able to do anything at that point, you're wrong. You're just wrong. You've never been through it. I've been there. I know what it feels like. I know exactly why she could not save herself. So the determination at the inquest is correct. She fell in there and accidentally drowned. It's a horrible tragedy. It can happen in an instant. Drowning deaths are much more prevalent than people realize for many different reasons, but water is very, very dangerous, and stuff happens, So anyway, I wanted to share that experience with you, so maybe you'll understand how it really does happen that way. And if you're new to the channel, by the way, please do subscribe to the channel, like it, and also check out the other videos that I have on the case, Nicola Bulley case, and also check my playlist for all the other cases that I analyze. And I hope that helps you understand better. Bye-bye.